Welcome to my video presentation of my creation of fractal art. In this video, I will show you how I created this massive painting of a Sierpinski triangle, show you how to calculate the total number of triangles in this piece and any other Sierpinski triangle, and explain the symbolism behind the number 3 and the triangle shape. So while you watch me create this in the background, let's dig into what a fractal is. A fractal is a never-ending pattern that is self-similar across all scales. All it takes to create these infinitely complex geometric shapes is a simple process repeated on a continuous feedback loop. Discovered in 1915 by Polish mathematician Wacław Sierpinski, this is a commonly known fractal. To draw it out, first we begin with an equilateral triangle. This one is 48 inches by 48 inches. Inside of that triangle, we mark the center of each line and then connect them, creating an upside-down triangle in the center. I repeated this on each corner of the first triangle, first at 24 inches, then again at 12 inches, then 6, then 3 inches, then 1.5 inches, then 0.75 inches or 3/4, and then the smallest triangle being 0.375 inches. In the beginning, I started painting each tiny triangle, but quickly realized that this method was inefficient and began to paint the bigger triangles and then paint the smaller ones, layering them on top. So how do we find the total number of triangles in this massive Sierpinski triangle? To do this, we'll use the equation. The total sum of 1 plus 4 times 3 to the nth power. In this equation, E tells us to add up all of the terms for each value of n. 1 accounts for the first triangle we then add to 4, because in each iteration, each triangle is divided into 4 triangles. This number is then multiplied by 3 because we are only dividing 3 of the total 4 new triangles into another 4 triangles. 3 has an exponent of n and is equal to the level of scaling or the number of iterations we use, beginning with the number 0. This equation can be written out into a series by figuring out the number in each iteration of triangles separately and then adding them all together to get the final total. In this larger triangle that I made, we have 7 iterations, so n equals 7. Grab a pencil and paper and let's work this equation out together and find out how many triangles I'm painting in this giant Sierpinski triangle. Start with 1 for our first triangle, then we set that aside. Then we find the total of 4 multiplied by 3 to the 0th power. Well, 3 to the 0th power is 1, multiplied by 4 equals 4. Then we move on and we find the sum of 4 times 3 to the first power, which is 4 times 3, which is 12. Then we move on to find 4 times 3 to the second power, which is 4 times 9, and that's 36. From there, we find the sum of 4 times 3 to the third power, which is 4 times 27, equaling 108. And then we move on to 4 times 3 to the fourth power, which is 4 times 81, which totals 324. Now we're at the 6th iteration at 5 of the n. So we'll go with 4 times 3 squared to the 5th exponent, which is 4 times 243, which is 927. In our final iteration, we have 4 times 3 to the 6th power, which is 4 times 729, equaling 2,916. When we finish, we add all those numbers together that we just set aside for each iteration, and we total them up. We get 4,373 triangles total. In A Beginner's Guide to Constructing the Universe, it says, the triad pervades our lives. The principle of the triad, as seen in the braid, that a minimum of 3 elements is required to weave into a whole, teaches us how to reconcile conflict. No enduring resolution of any kind is possible without 3 aspects, 2 opposite and neutral, binding, balancing, arbitrating, transforming presence. Knowing how to choose the third factor means the difference between conflict's resolution and its perpetuation. The third element, if properly chosen, pierces the valley and achieves a previously unknown level of experience, one of balance and completion. I became interested in the triangle as a representation of the repetitive symbolism within the number 3 as we encounter the trifecta as a balance in our everyday life. I see the triangle as a bridge between my loved ones in heaven and myself here on earth, encompassing a representation of the emotional dynamic within the relationships of my own family system. It is a co-mixture of myself and another human that resulted in the creation of new life when I gave birth to each of my children. Birth, life, and death. Spirit, soul, and body. Light, energy, and mass. Past, present, and future. Peace, love, and equality. All establishing balance within the triad, like the third leg of a stool that tips easily with just the 2. The Sierpinski triangle, a fluid representation of my life's transformation thanks to CIIS. Artwork built on stability and a reminder that exponential growth is possible with a solid foundation, and an inspiring reminder that my mind, like my fractal creation, is ever expansive and all-encompassing, a visual connection to the collective unconscious through the universal language of mathematics, my psyche's attempt to reach beyond the bounds of linear time and into another world. When painting this art, I wanted to bring in the calming, relaxing, and productive template into my color choices, as well as symbolism for my life. Blue became my base color, as it's always been a color I resonated with calming, the feeling I get when blue skies and vast oceans span as far as my eye can see. I chose turquoise. I used a bright burnt orange to symbolize the fire of creativity that burns in my soul. While pieces were left unpainted, they give the picture great depth to the visual stimulation and serve as a reminder to live in the present moment. Purple surrounds the gold, a trifecta of courage, strength, and persistence that it took to get me where I'm at today. Gold's illuminating beauty fills the 3 second to largest triangles, remaining consistent throughout the painting in a recognition of life's value being greater than any amount of gold. I used yellow as a symbol for light, capable of shining through the darkness, flowing from a small sliver at the top and getting brighter and brighter as the colors shift counterclockwise and the light inside me grows as I move into the next chapter of my life. Green is in the center, the largest solid triangle, representing all that Mother Earth offers and that centers me here and now, and serves as a reminder for the gratitude I feel in my heart for her many blessings, a reciprocal peace offering to the trees of life for the gift of breath in my lungs. In my paper, I wrote about how fractals commonly found in nature have the same value of fractal dimension as the fractal patterns preferred by our visual processing system, falling into the mid-range of dimensional value between 1.3 and 1.5. Fractals with this value of complexity have a calming and stress-reducing effect on us physiologically, and is now being used in design concepts to trigger these same effects inside our homes and offices. The Sierpinski triangle has a D value of 1.585, falling very close to the preferred range, and as an addition to the aesthetics of my living room, I hope it brings my family many benefits in the years to come.